the Australian Championship.
The shot off the post and in, continue to make history.
This rivalry burns as bright as ever.
That is just spectacular, it's incredible, very good.
Match day 3 in the Australian Championship, and all eyes turn to a pristine playing surface at the Palace and the fierce battle for progression from Group B. Heidelberg have set the pace with 2 wins from 2, leaving the 2 NPL New South Wales sides to squabble over second spot. With the Burgers strong favourites against South Hobart tomorrow, a win for either side today would put them in pole position to progress to a potential quarter-final matchup with Group D leaders West's Apia. Marconi laid siege to the Heidelberg goal in round 1, but their search for a late leveller came up empty. Stallions had no such trouble last week, dispatching South Hobart 4-0 thanks to a hat-trick from Damien Sekenis. Wollongong survived a testing first half at Darcy Street to run out 3-1 victories in their opening game, but were humbled on home turf by the Australia Cup finalists last week. 2 goals conceded from set pieces will have given Luke Wilkshire plenty to work on the training paddock. But Wollongong's recent history in this matchup will give the Wolves cause for optimism. In their last visit to the Palace, they emphatically ended Marconi's 13-game unbeaten start to the season, winning 3-0 via a Lachlan Scott hat-trick, and Marconi's NPL campaign never truly recovered. Let's see what the energy's like in the stands and check in with our man, Alex Molchanov.
Iconic football ground, iconic football side. Marconi Stallions hosting the Wollongong Wolves on this Saturday afternoon. We've got some very special helpers to tell us, lads, who is winning today? You can give us your answer as well across the afternoon. Just scan the QR code on screen now and let us know who you think will win.
Alex Molchanov, our man on the sideline, no doubt among those Marconi supporters, but you can cast your vote. Head to australianchampionship.com.au and click on the Game Day tab to have your say. My name is Josh Parrish. It's my delight to be joined once again on Super Saturday by former Socceroo Scott McDonald. Scott, what are you expecting from this one?
Yes, good afternoon, Josh. I'm thoroughly looking forward to this one. It's such a pivotal time in this group stage for these 2 teams. Obviously, Wollongong Wolves, after that disappointment last weekend against Heidelberg, needing the win, you have to say, after an emphatic win from Marconi as well. That 4-0 win, putting them above Wollongong on the table at the moment. So you feel it's crucial for both sides, even more so Wollongong, that they get something out of this game to continue that process, to have any chance to getting through to those knockout stages.
Well, Marconi haven't beaten Wollongong this season in NPL New South Wales. Do the Wolves have a psychological advantage here?
Potentially, but a lot of changes for both sides. A new manager once again for Wollongong Wolves, and Luke Wilkshire as well. They'll be hugely disappointed off the back of that result, like I said, at home last weekend. Looking to put that right, but a man in form at the moment for Marconi as well. You know, with a hat-trick last week, you know, and Damien Sekenis, he's going to be a huge threat and one I'm looking forward to watching once again here, as well as Akio as well, who was absolutely magnificent on that left wing for Marconi. One to watch in this one again.
You can see there the man on your screen, Lachlan Scott, the skipper for the Wolves. A hat-trick on his last visit to the Palace in that 3-0 win that stunned Marconi in round 14. He's got 5 goals in his last 4 appearances against the Stallions. Crowd building nicely at Marconi Stadium for this one. It's been billed as the group of death. Wollongong and Marconi are battling for a bit of air in this group, with Heidelberg leading the pace.
Already the mind gate starting. Marconi waiting, making Wollongong wait a little bit longer than usual. But you mentioned that man, Lockie Scott, wonderful leader for Wollongong Wolves, has done for many a year now as well since being there, and a top goal scorer in that New South Wales Premier League.
There he is, Marko Jesic. The spiritual leader with the armband for Marconi. Over 200 games for his local club. He's born and raised here at Bossley Park. what a journey he's been on, recovering from no less than 3 knee reconstructions in his early days at the Newcastle Jets to have such a long and storied career at this storied club, who competed in every season of the National Soccer League. Marconi. They first met the Wolves back in 1981, then called Wollongong City, their debut season in the NSL. A lot of history in this matchup between the West of Sydney and the Illawarra.
And your home side, the Marconi Stallions, as well as officials, as they make their way onto the pitch.
Well, belatedly, here come the teams. Marconi in the throwbacks, the blue and white. Wollongong in the familiar all red. So much on the line for these two sets of players. And the FIFA anthem belts out across the Palace. Another Super Saturday live and free on SBS. And this one has so much at stake. Recent fortune against Wollongong has been poor for Marconi, but prior to that they won 6 of their last 7 meetings with the Wolves, so I suppose the psychological advantage depends on how far back their memories stretch. Let's get into the team news. And unsurprisingly, Peter Sakanis has named an unchanged 11 coming off that 4-0 win. His son Damien is the man in form, but look out for William Archeo on the left flank. The Canadian was a live wire last week, and his battle with Tate Russell will be one to watch. 17-year-old Noah Anderson has played a regular role as a substitute. Look out for him as one of the young names making their mark on the Australian Championship. For Luke Wilkshire, there's just one change after that 3-0 defeat to Heidelberg, a result that both managers seemingly agreed was harsh on the Wolves. Sebastian Hernandez impressed in that game. He comes in on the flank to replace Alex Masiovecchio. New signings Isaac Danzo and Kazuya Yamamura continue their partnership in midfield, while there's plenty of firepower out there. NPL New South Wales Player of the Year Nick Olsen, Thomas James and the captain Lachlan Scott. This side should not be short of goals.
1989 to present today's minor match ball to the match officials for this championship clash.
It's the man between the sticks, Jimmy Hilton, NPL New South Wales Goalkeeper of the Year, and one of the most imposing back fours in the competition. Ortakudis and Milinaric, central defensive partnership. But it's the man up top who's the talk of the town. The Prince of the Palace, Damien Sakanis, a hat-trick last week. He said after the game that his dad's definitely not dad in the dressing room, but I'm sure Peter was beaming with pride on the inside as he watched his son at those tremendous 3 goals. Our referee today is Declan Woods, assistant referees Patrick Talecki and Thomas Galatli, and the 4th official is Noah Moss. It's a return to the Illawarra, to the dugout for Luke Wilkshire in his second spell in charge of the Wolves. An NPL national champion in 2019. It's a big job ahead of him. Quick turnaround for this Australian Championship competition with plenty of new names to integrate. Marconi, meanwhile, are a pillar of consistency. Marko Jesic to get us underway. Marconi with the kickoff from right to left. And it's all on the line in Group B of the Australian Championship. After a protracted build-up at the Palace, William Archeo will be raring to go the Canadian whose time in the Scottish Premiership was cut short by injury.
It'll certainly be a fascinating matchup, like you said there, Josh, on that left flank for Marconi. Akio against Tate Russell, the experienced Tate Russell, a former teammate of mine at Western Sydney as well. Obviously with the disappointment of Western United, looking to get as much football in his legs as possible and trying to obviously get back into that A-League through performances, I would suggest. But both flanks for both teams as well is where obviously all the dangers are. Hernandez and Olsen for Wollongong, and then you got the expansive Franco Meyer on that right-hand side and Akio on the left for Marconi. So looking forward to seeing what both deliver today.
Akio's first chance to stretch his legs, and the cutback finds Jesic. Tried to dig it to the back stick. Instead, it doesn't make it past the first man. Banri Kanazumi puts it behind for the game's first corner.
Again, real positive start for Marconi down that left-hand flank, and you just seem to think that that's going to be a regular thing this game as well. So Wollongong have to be very, very on their toes down that flank.
It's Akio to take. Into the 6-yard box, and no one attacking it for Marconi. Mortakudis tries to keep it alive. Bayless for Akio. Hung up to the far post and harmlessly behind. Damien Sikenis will be a man closely marked this afternoon, you'd imagine.
Well, he'd have to be. You know, his movement in the box was absolutely excellent last week as well, so certainly, you know, the two centre-backs within, Busnell and Kanazumi have to be very, very mindful of that, playing off the back of them as well. So, he's in excellent form as well. And he even touched on it last week, didn't he? He's almost scored half the amount of goals that he scored in the New South Wales Premier League, so he was delighted with that.
His movement in the box, his finishing was lethal against South Hobart, but a different test today. This is Ryan up the line. Thomas James leaving one on Tas Mutakudis early doors. It's laid off for Scott. Scott's going to have a go, and his effort is blocked well by Daniel. Oh, no whistle against Hernandez. Daniel thought he was pushed. Yamamura. Wollongong will have to recycle. Oh, and Busnell has got himself into trouble here. Jesic looking for the early ball in behind. It's a chance on for Franco Meyer. The danger is just about cleared.
It's a wonderful ball from Jesic there, isn't it? It just wouldn't settle for Franco Meyer there, though. As he got through, it was a lovely time run, but the bounce just evaded him there in the end, and Wollongong get away with that one.
Hacked clear by Daniel Solski in the Wolves' goal. Danzo. James hit the deck, and the whistle is belatedly blown. Let's see what the Stallions think of that decision from Declan Woods. And see what the plan is early for Marconi. Win the ball and go forward as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think both teams will be looking to set up very, very similar. Obviously similar shapes as well in that 4-2-3-1. Both teams respect each other, quite a lot, but be looking for those, cheap turnovers and then quick transitions like we're seeing here. But they need that little bit of quality with the extra pass to get them in that final third. That's going to be the key for both sides.
Dylan Ryan had his heels clipped. Name familiar to Melbourne Victory fans. Also spent time with Liverpool juniors. There's a Marconi on the attack here. Akio. Daniel wouldn't settle for him. Yamamura scrambling around to clear the danger. It rolls out to Hernandez. Russell into the first man and behind, and Wollongong can breathe. midfield, looking for Scott. Kanazumi stepping in. Now Danzo winning possession for the Wolves, and they can go quickly here as they play through the pressure. This is Olsen. Out to Hernandez. Pass sent him wide. Numbers assembling in the penalty area for the Wolves. Hernandez behind for a corner.
It was a lovely little initial flick there from James inside to Lockie Scott. Really good front forward play there. Olsen a little bit more central, playing in the pocket. Ball gets out wide to Hernandez, and you see why Hernandez is probably in this team. You know, his 1v1 ability. He was very, very lively when he came on against Heidelberg last weekend, and he gets his team the first corner of the game.
And swinger off the left boot of Olsen. Headed across goal, dangerously so, and Marconi breathe a sigh of relief there. James Hilton less than impressed with his back line.
Yeah, absolutely. Their first contact always key within that 6-yard area. Wollongong get first to that, but no takers. No one actually probably in and around that 6-yard box sniffing. If you look Wiltshire, you're a little bit frustrated with that, because that's for me, that's a key moment and a key opportunity to potentially, you know, open up the scoring.
Hilton out into touch. What do you make of that change? Massiavecchio dropping to the bench. Scott?
I can only imagine, you know, due to the performance of Hernandez when he come on and the liveliness of him. Massiavecchio, excellent player himself and has impressed within this tournament thus far. But Hernandez, you know, had that glorious opportunity, didn't he, to get Wollongong on the score sheet last week. But found himself in the right place at the right time a lot when he came on last weekend. So I think that's probably in the thinking of Luke Wiltshire. You know, he deserves his call up, and you know, so far it's been a positive start from him.
Thomas James dropping very deep to get himself involved, and he's shown some studs on Sekenis.
Actually looks a little bit different lineup for actually Wollongong this weekend. James playing out in that left-hand side rather than Olsen, and Olsen picking up that 10 role, and Lockie Scott actually playing through as the lead number 9 this weekend.
I think the balance of that forward line is something that Wollongong will have to work on, accommodating so many attackers in the same side. As you say, James playing on the flank, which is not where we're used to seeing him. Meyer rolls it through for Sekenis. Last touch off a red shirt. Another set-piece chance for Marconi.
Lovely little touch there from Franco Meyer. Damien Sekenis just can't get hold of that ball. If he first touches better, he probably could play Akio in there. But as it was, poor touch. Managed to get another corner, another great opportunity to get in an area and make Wollongong defend this. Been a good start from both teams.
It's going to be Meyer over the dead ball. And straight into the side netting. Poor by his standards, the Uruguayan.
Hugely poor. If you're Peter Sekenis, you're pulling your hair out. These opportunities, I think we had this in the game against South Hobart also. First couple of set-piece opportunities for Marconi. Really go a-begging. You know, you work on these things in training, and then obviously you don't get them right, and you let the other team off the hook.
Loose pass from Kanazumi. Milinaric attacking it high up the park. Now the shot from range from Meyer was an ambitious one. One back straight away. Bayless back to Milinaric. James Bayless, it's threaded through. A chance on now, driven across goal by Sekenis, and Jesic arriving at the front post, couldn't make contact.
Again, Wollongong, you know, giving the ball away cheaply in that build-up play, but you have to say what a wonderful turn that was from Damien Sekenis. He left Kanazumi, you know, in his mitts there. Just couldn't cut it back, you know, enough there. Solski gets his hands on it. Really good goalkeeping, you have to say. Across that 6-yard box. Yes, it's trying to get across the front stick, but just not there early enough. Good play, though, from Marconi.
As you saw picture-in-picture there. Physicality and skill from Sekenis. He and Jesic seem to be developing quite an understanding, as we saw from that brilliant Marko Jesic dummy for the first goal last week at this very venue. Spraying the ball about confidently here, Marconi. It's Van der Sark. Chipped into a channel. Bernie joining the attack. So dangerous in the first half against South Hobart. His delivery falls short. Meyer. Played by Olsen. Wollongong looking to spring in transition, and they've got the numbers and the pace. It's Hernandez. Looking for Olsen. The ball was played behind him. Sebastian Hernandez will have a second bite at this, but the spaces have closed up in front of him, and that's a bit of a lazy pass back to Tate Russell. You could see his disappointment with his first effort. Clever backheel, though, from Lockie Scott. Russell barreling into challenges. Ball falls fortuitously for Franco Meyer. And a cool drag back. He shakes off the attentions of Olsen and settles things for the Stallions.
Yeah, another real good opportunity there for Wollongong Wolves in the transition moment. Once they pick that ball up, they go fast, don't they? It's a huge threat in this game for them. But Hernandez just not being able to execute that final ball into Olsen there. If he had it done, Olsen's in a really great position to take that ball down and potentially threaten that Marconi goal.
Russell. Yamamura under the cosh. Here goes Bayless. Marconi could be on here. It's threaded through by Bayless. It's just asked too much of Franco Meyer.
Again, Wollongong, to their own undoing there once again. Really sloppy in possession. Tate Russell's pass into Yamamura. Way too heavy there for him to try and manipulate that ball, particularly under pressure. And again, cheap play again from Wollongong there, ball going out. And you have to say, Marconi on top at the moment.
It just feels as if every time Yamamura gets the ball, he's being swarmed by two players.
I think rightly so, in terms of his two performances so far and the caliber of the player and where he's come from as well. Huge threat and someone that Peter Sakinis has probably, eye-marked, for this game to be potentially careful of.
Well, one. It's James. Looks to return the favour for Olsen. Scott onto the scraps. Slide challenge was clean from Van der Sark. And he will get the whistle as well. Shake of the head from the former J1 veteran and Japanese international, Yamamura.
It's just a little sign of frustration there creeping in. Not being able to try and dictate the game at the moment, Yamamura as well. So Marconi have done well.
Here we go. Down the line it is for Jesic. He's up against Bunal. Cut back towards Akio. Glorious chance. Marconi hit the front. And William Akio is off the mark for the Stallions.
Well, what did we say, Josh? Who was to watch out for? That man, Akio. But you have to say, lovely ball in behind. Jesic making that 10 run from in behind out to that left-hand side. And Akio making that direct run into the edge of the box. Lovely little cutback. And as calm as you like, slots it through for Marconi to take the lead. Great strength shown here from Jesic as well against Busnell. And then Akio does it all from there. Has the composure with his first touch. Not to panic, but to take his time, pick his spot, and slots it away to make it 1-0 for Marconi. And you have to say, on the balance of play, thoroughly deserved to this point.
Superb finish and an even better celebration from William Akio. Welcome to the big stage. The Canadian import has lit up this competition so far. And he has a goal to celebrate. See how the Marconi fans have received their new hero. Let's go down to the sideline to Alex Molchanoff.
Good to be with you, Josh and Scotty. What a start to this game. And Marconi getting the just deserves of you guys have been talking about. They're very aware, though, of the threat that Lachlan Scott offers down the other end. Lots of chat between Tas Murtakudis and Anton Mlinaric about the threat he offers in these sort of transition situations we're seeing unfolding now. Definitely not over by any means at this stage.
This is James. And he wins a corner for his troubles.
Yeah, Alex is certainly right there. It's definitely not over yet. You know, that front four of Wollongong are a huge threat in James, Hernandez, Olsen, and obviously the most mentioned there, Lockie Scott. Again, lovely little play there just over the halfway line, showing pure strength, and then connects the game for his team to get them up the park. Massive for Wollongong, that.
James will take the corner himself, and there's a bit of sorting out to do in the box beforehand. Yesic getting a lecture from Declan Woods. Plenty of tall timber forward here for Wollongong as they chase a leveller. Thomas James to swing it in, and it's an easy claim for Hilton.
Again, another set chance. Goes a begging for one of the sides. I have to say, for Hilton though, it's always nice to catch one early, isn't it? Gets the confidence up. Again, Yesic making that lovely run in behind.
They're really exploiting that channel and down the left-hand side, of just between full-back and centre-back for Wollongong.
Yeah, it just seems to be a little bit of miscommunication in that back four, and Russell obviously very, very concentrated on Akio and leaving spaces for Yesic to go and exploit and leaving 1v1 in there, and that's where the goal came from. They have to be on their toes down that side, like we said, you know, from the very first minute of this game.
Murtakudis looking for Bernie. Bayless. Maya cutting in field as he so often does. And Asag sweeping things up, and he's given a kick for his troubles by the Wollongong skipper.
He wasn't helped by Franco Maya there, was he? In terms of the play before that. Franco Maya, a wonderful talent, likes to exploit defences, but sometimes can leave you exposed because he likes to try things differently, sometimes in not the right areas if you're a coach, but all the more exciting for us to watch.
He's a player who wants to go the extra mile to try and unlock a defence, and on his day can be absolutely devastating. Mlinaric. Daniel. Tate Russell taking over. Now Danzo under the chest of Scott. Sent wide to Hernandez. Wollongong building nicely here, but Murtakudis repels the danger at the near post.
Once again, once they get in that final third, Wollongong showing their true threat. Lockie Scott, big part play again, once again in that, in the build up to it. Hernandez's ball, you have to say Murtakudis deals with it really, really well.
Player of the season, Olsen, who drives it in low. It's an underwhelming delivery. Feels like most of the game's being played on this near flank for both sides. This is Russell. Drop of the shoulder to beat Akio, and now Hernandez has a chance to go at his man. Daniel holds his ground brilliantly. And he was caught late too. Pressure relieving free kick for the home side.
Yeah, excellent Work from Daniel there. I feel he's going to have a lot more of that as the game goes along with Hernandez. Hernandez initially does well, but the ball gets stuck under his feet. Just can't knock it away from Daniel, who manages to get back, recovers well, gets the tackle in and gets the foul. Takes the pressure right off Marconi once again.
So good defensively as well, Marconi. They're not a team you want to concede first to. Best defence in NPL New South Wales. Finished third in that competition and a semi-final exit to the eventual champions Apia. So, very respectable campaign. Nothing matching the heights of their 2024 championship success. Helped on by Akio, very cleverly too. Sekenis running the channel this time. Bayless. Spreads the play out to Franco Meyer. Meyer drifts it in. Flick on from Sekenis and Akio in the 1v1 against Russell. Onto his right and turned behind by Yamamura. Just always expect something's going to happen when William Akio gets on the ball in space.
Yep, exciting to watch.
Played this one short. Akio gets it back from Van der Sarg. Change of angle and the cross is overcooked. We saw South Hobart, this venue last week, Scott, really struggle with their short goal kicks and the pressure that Marconi was able to apply from them.
Yeah, Marconi's pressure was excellent. That 4-4-2 block to start with, almost a man-for-man like press, putting the opposition under real serious trouble. And Wollongong so far haven't found a way out. Every time from those goal kicks, Marconi have had success.
Scott. Knocked down for Danzo, was offline. You can vote in our poll today. 69% of you think Marconi are going to come out on top. Wolves fans, have your say. Scan the QR code or head to australianchampionship.com and click on the Game Day tab to participate and have your say. So again, Marconi on the attack. Sekenis holding up the ball well. Daniel. Van der Sarg. Scott running on his blind side, but it works out for the Stallions. Akio rolls it in behind for Bayless to drill one across the box. And again, Yamamura is the defender best placed. He's had his hands full this afternoon. The J-League veteran. Now Olsen trying to get something going for the Wolves. Van der Sarg. Hilton will take no chances. Van der Sarg up the other direction for Marconi, and Sekenis, I think, knew he was offside.
Right idea though, in that transition moment. That's where they hurt them for the first goal. Just couldn't keep his run on side. One to really notice and recognise though is Jesic. Once they do win the ball back, he gets high very, very quickly. It causes problems for the likes of Yanamura and Danzo in there. Seems to be getting the other side of them, particularly when Wollongong are trying to press a little bit higher. Olsen releasing to be that second striker, leaving them with a little bit of an overload. And Jesic, obviously, with his class and his experience, picking up those little pockets to expose Wollongong in the build-up play. As we'll see here, he's not in picture, but Wollongong trying to play a little bit higher, and he's playing in between centre halves and that midfield right now.
Mudakudis is generally a safe pair of hands when it comes to playing out from the back. Bayliss assessing his options. He's been bright this afternoon. Seen plenty of the ball. James Bayliss. Akio for Daniel. Jesic darting in behind. This time it's Hernandez who picks it off. Danzo can't connect with Olsen. Marconi back on the attack. Myers drifted across again. Sidesteps one and then two, but straight into the brick wall was Tate Russell. Good covering challenge from Milinaric to stop the counter attack. Olsen finding himself in space. You can see the disgusted reaction from Thomas James with that pass.
Even in Olsen's, the disappointment there. Just a little bit too much pace on it, trying to force it a little bit too much.
Wolves just haven't found the formula up top so far. Mudakudis. Headed back by Russell and gives his goalkeeper a lot to do. Daniel Solski was equal to the task.
He does well there. Again, Marconi trying to expose that left-hand side. Get Akio in behind.
A difficult afternoon last week at Collegians, did Daniel Solski. Third goal for Angus Taylor will be one he wouldn't like to look back on. James attempting the back heel. Straight into touch. As we alluded to earlier, it's been a difficult year for Wollongong Wolves, finishing 8th in the table. Parted ways with head coach Warren Grieve after round 22. Quickly taken, and Danzo will send it wide. Hernandez. Let's check in once again with our main man, Alex Molchinoff. Molchi, I know some of the players have pre-game routines, but I understand the Marconi head coach has one as well.
Well, I was very surprised when I went to grab him, Josh, that I had to pull him out of a bit of a yoga session, a bit of a stretching session to limber up for this game. He's in a very relaxed mood, Secker. I don't think we've seen him move off the bench just yet. Having said that, Luke Wilkshire's been pretty calm and considered, all things going on, but you know, it's Marconi on top, and Secker doesn't really have any reason to get out of first gear at the moment. He's looking very present in the moment and maybe a bit more spiritual than usual, Josh.
Very zen approach this afternoon from Peter Sekenis. What do you think of that, Scotty? Bit of soft music, light a few candles, get yourself in the zone.
Potentially I could have done with that as well as a manager. There's plenty of things that infuriate you on that touchline, that's for sure.
Well, now he's up and about.
Yeah, even when you are winning, Josh, there's always something.
Olsen. For Scott. Weaves his way through a gap. Scott finding Yamamura. Has his pocket picked by Akio. And look at him race away. William Akio. Almost connecting with Sekenis. Scott. Has his eyes up to find Hernandez on the far side. Hernandez to whip it in. Waterkudis gets a free header away. Space and time for Tate Russell to measure this. It's ahead of Tyrone Burney. Bit of sustained pressure from Wollongong now.
Yeah, good little spell for Wollongong. Again, as much as we talk about Akio on that left-hand side for Marconi, Hernandez has had a lot of space down that right flank, hasn't he, thus far? Seems to be the go-to.
New inclusion in the lineup. He's been busy so far. It's Yamamura. Last touch off Ryan. Much to his chagrin.
He's more of the natural Hernandez, one that will stay wide and be the natural winger. You see Olsen and James sort of interchanging a little bit more on that left-hand side for Wollongong.
Phantom whistle in the crowd. And now it does blow as Jesic falls afoul of the assistant referee who called that free kick. Bunal for Russell. Hernandez into traffic. Akio has space to attack now. Still William Akio. Drops the shoulder, cuts in field, and it's surely turned in. No! Daniel Solski with a miracle stop. And Peter Sekenis will be worrying about the welfare of his son now as he's got some contact in the penalty area.
Well, it's a wonderful save, isn't it, from Solski? Because you think for all money, Jesic, the first man across the near, is going to get contact, doesn't. And Sekenis at the back stick gets contact with it. It gets a little nick on the way, I think, for Kawazumi. Solski does enough to just palm it out.
Marconi think there's a potential penalty in there, I think.
I'm not too sure on that one, Josh. I think bodies are throwing at it. Good contact on the block. Gets enough on it for, obviously, Sekenis not to be able to score there. But again, this guy on screen on the ball.
He's literally on the ball there. Standing on it and overbalancing, but he still managed to make something of it.
Yeah, he's a tricky character, and he can go left, he can go right.
This is Jesic. Daniel sends him wide. Jesic to the byline. And behind for a yet another Marconi corner. And Wollongong struggled so badly off those set pieces last week against Heidelberg. This is an area to exploit.
Yeah, one that Marconi just haven't been able to do thus far. Both teams struggled in their corner set pieces to produce that first ball quality to get on the end of. Let's see with this one what Akio can produce.
Akio goes back stick this time. It was nice shape on it. Kanazumi in the way yet again. Van der Sark. Sekenis just peeling off to the back post. And he'll whip it in. Again, it's overcooked. James to keep it alive for Wollongong. No whistle. And he's shoved rather unceremoniously to the deck there by Van der Sarg. Oh, and a bit of afters with James and Milinaric. Assistant referee was right on the spot. And there could be some controversy here. James has gone over.
It'll be interesting to see what the decision on this one is, Josh.
Declan Woods with plenty to sort out.
We had a great view of it. It did seem like James did go for the privates.
Well, if that's the case, he'll be off. Let's see if the replay tells the story. James holding his hamstring.
That's just, for me, red card all day. If the referee doesn't pull anything out here, the linesman, I think, is a little bit unsighted with it. As you can see there, it has to come from the referee, who's got a great view of it. And there's no question that obviously he's raised it. And there's only one decision for me.
A moment of absolute madness from Thomas James. Well, based on the discussions we're seeing, it looks like he might get away with that one.
Wow.
Just a yellow card.
I can't believe that, Josh. Perfectly honest, he's got a perfect view of that, and he's given Milinaric one as well. For me, I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled at that. You know, when they go to review this with their referees over the coming days, surely, look, you cannot do that. Absolutely cannot do that. The referee's right there. You can see it clearly. He's 10 metres away, if anything, but then decides to give Milinaric one as well. I'm baffled.
Well, Marconi will be fuming. Of course, the referees only see it once. We've got the benefit of the replays and no VAR in this competition either.
And if you're Luke Wiltshire, you're absolutely raging at James as well. You know, what are you thinking in that moment? You've won your side a foul. Yes, he's over the top of you, but you've done excellent to win the foul. You've bought it as well, let's be real. And then you go and do something as daft as that. Very, very lucky boy.
And Thomas James over the journey has had his fair share of controversial moments. Storming out of the Perth Glory after a falling out with now Socceroos boss Tony Popovich. A player who's lit up the competition in both New South Wales and the ACT, but let's have a short fuse, let's say.
I can't understand why the referee goes to the linesman in that moment. He's 10 yards away. I know I keep going on about it, but he's 10 yards away. What's the confirm from the linesman for? The linesman cannot see it.
Oh, rather spectacular going over from James.
He's gave it for handball.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if he's given simulation there,
yes,
he's off.
Exactly.
Just falling
interesting.
on the ball.
He went for the hand straight away there, the ref as well, didn't he? Okay.
Yep. Well, James flirting with disaster here for the Wolves, who trail away from home against Marconi. One of their star signings. He's walking a fine line indeed. Bayless. There's every possibility that James might face further disciplinary action if it does go to tribunal.
Well, that would be my question, actually. The rulings on that, once you get booked, is it able to be then reviewed? I'm not so sure it is, actually, Josh.
There was a similar incident many years ago in the A-League with Joel Griffiths, who was sanctioned with a yellow card. Hernandez whips it in, and I remember on that occasion he was not able to be suspended due to the incident being dealt with on the spot. So where that rule stands these days, you have to ask an expert on the bylaws. Kanazumi. Desolski. Olsen. James. Can't connect with his teammate. If you're Luke Wiltshire, do you consider bringing Thomas James off now?
Oh, he has to have a serious talking to him probably at half-time. He knows him very, very well. They've worked together for a long period, so if anyone knows how to settle him down, it will be Luke Wiltshire, and what to do to get the best out of him.
Hernandez to whip it in.
But actually, it's had an opposite, it's had a positive effect for Wollongong. Since obviously that incident, Wollongong have really shown a huge threat, had a few balls into the box, and Marconi have had to deal with it a little bit more, and they're probably the ones that just need to settle, get to half-time, reconvene, and pick up where they left off, you know, early on in this half. But still, some good opportunity with 5 minutes to go for Wollongong here.
This is Olsen. Picks out Hernandez for a change of angle. It's a brilliant ball in, and well saved by Hilton. Wollongong's best look at goal all afternoon.
Well, the New South Wales Premier League goalkeeper of the season comes up trumps there, doesn't he, for his team? Wonderful save there.
Not averted though, as James thinks about the cross. Shifts it onto his left, hangs it high. Wolves laying siege to the Marconi penalty area. The whistle's gone. Now spotted inside the penalty area. Here's this chance for Wollongong at the far stick.
It was well worked, wasn't it? Great ball in from Hernandez. Ryan making great contact, does everything right at that back stick as well. Gets it down to give Hilton, you know, trouble there, and makes a wonderful save. And on the rebound, Marconi first to it.
Two incredible stops at both ends already this afternoon. Fine display of goalkeeping. Cushioned by Olsen. Tate Russell. To James. Olsen. Drifting this way and that. Russell. Ryan's made a late run into the box. It's acrobatically cleared by Mordakutis. Now Sakanis leads the break. Was he caught late there by Kanazumi? Yes, he was. Sakanis made sure the referee knew about that one.
He did. It was just a trailing leg, I think. Not the initial contact when the ball was played, but the run afterwards, where there's a little bit of a coming together with the two players. It's actually
the player coming from
actually James, wasn't it?
Behind, yep.
Yeah, from behind.
So Thomas James once again earning the ire of the referee. 90 seconds plus stoppage to play in this first half. Marconi lead thanks to a solitary William Akio goal. Will we get a Franco Meyer special? It will be the Uruguayan, who hits it straight into the wall. Back into the box, dealt with by Bunal. Helped on. Wolves looking for a counter-attacking opportunity. James sidesteps his man. Sliding in with Akio. Brilliant tracking back from the goal scorer. Well, the players didn't know it, but the whistle had gone for offside.
That's not the first time we've seen Akio working his way back the pitch for his team as well. Really great work ethic. I know we keep going on about him, but he's been super impressive in this championship so far, and not only going forward, but showing a willingness to obviously defend for his team as well. And that's twice he's picked the pocket at Yamamura in that midfield in vital positions and areas for Wollongong to then go and get at Marconi.
He's had a fascinating career today. South Sudanese refugee settling in Calgary in Canada. Hold that thought as Wollongong are on the attack. Olsen wouldn't settle for him. 2 minutes up on the board to end the half.
Again, it's wonderful play from Lachlan Scott. You just feel every time the ball goes into Lockie Scott as well, he's going to make something happen for Wollongong. He uses his body beautifully. Giving Milinaric and Murdakutis a lot of troubles. Very, very difficult when you've got a centre forward like that loves to hold it in, roll you, to try and nick it every single time. He rolls you so well and gets his team into the game. Oh,
they could be in here again, Marconi.
Oh,
is that a handball against Bunal?
Has to be, yep.
It's a penalty. Franco Meyer was about to pull the trigger. And Harrison Bunel, Superman, dives in front of him.
What's the decision after this, Josh? That's the question.
Always,
and again, we're going to the linesman. I'm not sure why.
A decision for Declan Woods and his assistant.
He could be off here, Josh.
Was it an intentional denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? That's the question. Or was it merely an inadvertent, clumsy handball that wasn't a cynical attempt to stop play?
Look, it seems for me that he does, trip over his own feet. He's trying to recover, and he accidentally, falls on the ball. But no question about the penalty.
Two potential red card incidents in one half of football for Wollongong. Either way, Marconi will have a spot kick. Here he is, Meyer. Oh, it looks incriminating on the replay, doesn't it?
Doesn't look too good, does it?
Here comes the card, and it is red. Harrison Bunel is off. And after a first half filled with controversy, the Wolves do go down to 10 men after all.
You have to say, obviously giving the referee a little bit of jip, for the first decision, he's got that one absolutely spot on. Correct decision, penalty, and you have to say off the back of the replay there, correct decision as a red card as well.
There's just an additional motion of the arm when he falls, isn't there?
Yep. I mean, the initial, as we don't see in the replay, but Kanazumi, what are we doing? Kanazumi on the bounce, gets it nicked from, I think it was Zakinis. Zakinis does ever so well. As always, is a huge threat. You let that ball bounce, he's going to get there. And he did on that occasion. Franco Meyer takes over from there, and then Busnell just unlucky, can't stay on his feet. And then you have to say it is a little bit incriminating, that extra extension of the arms. I think if you're Wollongong and Luke Wilshire, you feel hard done by, though, with the penalty being given and arguably the question of double jeopardy. But a lovely opportunity now for Marconi to double up. Go 2 up and really, really make it difficult from here on in for Wollongong to find a way back into this game.
Well, the officials have decided it's not a footballing action, so therefore the red card is still issued. No, it was in the box. And so with the last action of the first half, it will be Franco Meyer who is entrusted with the responsibility from 12 yards. Daniel Solski given the talking to stay on his line. He's already made one miracle stop in this first 45. Can he come to Wollongong's rescue here? It's Meyer to open his account in the championship. Meyer scores! Nerveless into the bottom corner. And Marconi are into a commanding lead.
Well, as calm as you like, cool as a cucumber. Just before half-time, doubles the lead for Marconi. Absolutely no question. Slots it into that keeper's right-hand side. Absolutely no chance. Solski goes the wrong way. And from here on in, you have to say it's going to be a difficult afternoon for Wollongong. As we see the penalty again, Busnell just does seem to jump into it. Calmly slotted away. And Marconi are well on their way to the 3 points here.
Franco Meyer spotting a familiar face in the crowd behind the goal. And Marconi lay their claim. The second spot in this group. Just depending on how the results go tomorrow. Barely have time to kick off here. Maybe one attack for Wollongong to end the half. Scott. Can't find Hernandez. There's only one option on. Akio rolls his man. Played well over the allotted 2 minutes of stoppage. Bayless. Van der Sar. Akio. Oh, he nutmegs his man. Akio, brilliant.
Oh, great touch.
And he almost teed it up for himself for the spectacular Sikenis. So that will finally bring a halt to the first half. And what engaging viewing it's been in Marconi. The Palace, the setting, for an outstanding first half of football, and it's Marconi in the driver's seat against 10 men. They lead Wollongong by 2 goals to 0.
Just remind your friends. Register with your local club today to play football at www.miniroos.com.au.
No two match day experiences are the same. But when you go to these grounds, everything feels as though it's been put with love and passion. And so going to Marconi Stadium, you get to be so close to this real football. The first thing you see when you get to the ground is the iconic football, the massive soccer ball, you know, that overlooks the palace. You feel the history and the culture there.
Marconi, 3 kilometres down the road, is Sydney United. They are polar different, totally different sets of teams, fans, people that work there. Every team has its own set of identity.
How good is it now to see Canberra playing in this level? How good is it to see South Hobart, who, by the way, were founded in 1910?
I think it'll help football, number one. It'll help our national teams. It'll help young players who are, a year or two behind in their development. It'll be a huge step to improving football in this country.
These type of opportunities, especially for the younger players coming through, is enormous, because the one thing we have had issues with in the past is not enough football. It gives everybody that ability to dream big.
So those players, you know, some talented footballers now from that, I reckon 16 to 20 demographic are going to be looked at closely, and we might find some hidden gems.
Sensational afternoon of football at the Palace, and it's all going to script for Marconi. 2 goals to the good, and Wollongong reduced to 10 men with the last action of the first 45. A hotly contested and at times highly controversial first half between 2 NPL New South Wales rivals. My name is Josh Parrish. Scott McDonald with me in studio for Super Saturday. Scotty Mack, Marconi, good value for their lead.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been a great half of football, though. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, both teams going at each other. You have to say Marconi has been the better side, overall. This is the first goal here. Yes, he's obviously exposing that left-hand side. Akio, when he takes his first touch here, it's easy to panic, but he doesn't. He takes his first touch, calms himself, readjusts his feet, and slots it away beautifully on the little reverse, slide. And the celebration to go with it was absolutely wonderful.
Well, that will be one for his subscribers on YouTube are going to love. Now, here's the controversial moment of the first 45. Yeah. Thomas James, lucky to get away with this one?
Hugely, going for the crown jewels as he does. And it's not just a little tap, it's a good old scrunch there, you have to say. And linesman probably doesn't see it, but for me, referee does and makes the wrong decision. Books both. But as much as I give him a little bit of stick for that one, the next incident we have with Bunal, as we see the old Superman jumping into the ball, definite penalty handball, and you have to say off the back of that, right decision in the red card also.
What do you say if you're Luke Wilkshire at halftime? This is the Meyer penalty converted with one of the last actions of the first half, but down 2 goals away from home. You could be down to 9. Lucky to be only down to 10. It's a mountain to climb.
Yeah, absolutely. A difficult challenge here for Wollongong Wolves and Luke Wilkshire as well. What does he do? How does he change the shape? I still think Lachlan Scott has a lot to say within this game if Wollongong Wolves are to get back in this game, and a lot of the play has to naturally come through him. Probably like to see Olsen go on that left-hand side again and create natural width on both sides as well. They're going to need that now in the transitional moments because they're not going to have the ball a hell of a lot in this second half.
Interesting to see what changes they make as well. But we've got more coming up in our second match of the afternoon. 2 winless sides in this competition in Sydney United and Metro Stars. This is a big one for both teams. They both need to win.
Well, they hugely do, don't they? The other 2 teams, sitting on 6 and 4 as well. It's a great chance with them 2 playing each other for them to go up in the table a little bit more. Sydney United on 1. Metro Stars have been disappointing thus far with no points on the board, and we'll be looking to change that this afternoon.
Well, massive afternoon of football still to come. Stick with us for the second half at the Palace. William Akio and Franco Meyer with the goals as Marconi lead Wollongong Wolves by 2 goals to 0, and Sydney United and Metro Stars still to come. It's crunch time here on Super Saturday in the Australian Championship. Must-win games for all sides involved. Stick with us on the other side for the second half from the Palace.
If there's one Australian city where football helped put it on the map, it's Wollongong. A region where football history flows through the veins. The Wolves were back-to-back NSL champions at the turn of the millennium. 2000 was the most unforgettable grand final comeback of them all.
Reid, Paul Reid has to shoot and he's done it! The Wolves have equalised! We're going to go into extra time in the grand final. This is the most amazing comeback ever!
The Gongs given so much to the game, from Scotty to Stajovski and South Coast stars of the biggest stages. Now it's time for this region's team to ascend back to the spotlight.
The marvellous, irrepressible Wollongong Wolves go back to back.
The Wollongong Wolves in the Australian Championship.
who otherwise causes a disturbance may be evicted from the venue and may be banned from attending future matches. Football Australia extends out thanks to all our partners SBS, Minor and Movember for their support.
A fiery start to Super Saturday, live and free on SBS. William Archeo got us underway with a fantastic finish and an even more spectacular celebration. From there, it was tempers flaring at the Palace. 2 potential red card incidents. Thomas James getting away with one. Harrison Bunel not so lucky. And the resulting penalty in first half stoppage time from Franco Meyer has the Stallions in pole position. Josh Parrish here alongside Scott McDonald for the second half. Let's go down to our man on the sideline, Alex Molchanov.
Well, perhaps we should have expected it after all the drama, guys. Most of it in Marconi's favour. Their players out second, back onto the pitch here for the second half. And 2 changes coming for Wollongong, with Luke Wilkshire looking to correct the errors of the first half. Marcus Beattie and Dax Kelly about to make their entrance into this game.
Thank you, Mulchy. All changes from Luke Wilkshire with a mountain to climb in this second 45. We'll see how the Wolves line up as a result of those swaps. Referee Declan Woods has been the centre of attention this afternoon. I'm sure that's not the situation he was hoping for. He's had a lot to do. The Wolves skipper to kick us off, Lachlan Scott. We'll see Thomas James lining up out there, Scotty. So, man at the centre of all the controversy, not replaced at the break, despite the loss of Bunel.
Yeah, I didn't really expect probably James to come off. He is a huge threat. He's lively, isn't he? You know, when he gets in that final third, he can come up and conjure something special. So for Wolves, they need something special, and he needs to do something for his side in this half. You know, Beattie coming on as well, who I know well from NPL Queensland in his time there as well. So another attacking option for Wollongong. But like you said, it will be interesting to see how they now line up, if it's going to be a 4 or a 3 at the back.
We're away for the second 45. Big test for Luke Wilkshire. His Illawarra outfit against Marconi, who are flying high at the moment. And it's straight under pressure for Daniel Solski. This is Beattie straight into the action, loses out. And it was always looking likely that Franco Meyer was going to draw the flag of the assistant referee on the near side. So here comes Olsen. Mordakutis flying into that challenge and got the ball. Russell, Olsen. Neat combination from Wollongong. Beattie across the box. It's one of their best moves of the game. Got confirmation of those substitutions now, so it's Yamamura and Hernandez who've made way for Kelly and Beattie.
I just wonder if there's anything bothering Yamamura for him to obviously come off, as he's a little bit on the older age at the moment as well, and going down to 10 men. Perhaps, maybe, Luke Wilkshire's thoughts are that he needs fresher legs in that midfield to go and compete with 10 men. And as we've seen, Beattie coming on for Hernandez and having straight away an impact to Wollongong Wolves down that right-hand side.
Looks like the fullbacks are going to be more advanced in this half. Maybe providing that width they're going to be missing without Hernandez.
Quite risky.
Well, they've got to take the game on now.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the flip of that, can get hurt by Franco Meyer and Akio if they're not careful. But like you said, need to find a way back into this game.
So Tyrone Burney just sees the contact coming from Ryan and gets his body in the way. Part of the NPL New South Wales team of the season at right back, Tyrone Burney, along with Nick Olsen of Wollongong, and central defender who can't break into the starting lineup at the moment, Lockie Griffiths. So Marconi, a very deep team.
I think it's important if you're Marconi and Peter Zakinis right now that you stay alert, stay awake, be patient. Don't overplay, and make sure that you still try and hurt Wollongong in key areas of the pitch. But sometimes when you see teams go down to 10 men, it all of a sudden becomes even more difficult.
Here's Beattie. Floats it high and misses everything in there.
Yeah, naturally left-footed Beattie as well, so from trying to get that right round his right foot there. Difficult opportunity for him.
It's his second stint with the Wollongong Wolves. Marcus Beattie. Looks like a 4-3-2. Wollongong have set up with, not the traditional 4-4-1 that most coaches go to when they go down to 10.
Well, I think in the modern game we're seeing it a lot more often now. Having that 3-man midfield to try and get across the pitch and leave the space on the opposite side of the game and try and make it as compact as possible, and then in the transition moments you've got too high up the pitch to then try and hurt the opposition, and that's what Marconi are really going to have to be careful of. But as you see, switch of play hurts Wollongong initially.
This is Meyer, slide onto his left, collision with his marker, but no real appeals for another spot kick. Olsen working back. Danzo. Big responsibility on his shoulders in this second half. Ryan, no flag. And it's well cushioned for Thomas James, who's taken down by Bernie and goes into the book.
No question for me, that one. Reckless challenge. A little bit of retribution, perhaps.
Sure, despite the penalty and red card that ensued.
However, it's a silly challenge, you have to say, from Bernie. No need for it. Plenty of bodies behind that ball, and now finds himself on a yellow card. The last thing you want to be doing is leveling this match out.
Exactly. Surely the Marconi players are still burning about that decision, and more so than Anton Milinaric, who's on a booking himself afterwards. This is going to be Olsen over the dead ball. It's a low ball into the box for Scott. Van der Sarg getting into his goalkeeper's way, but Hilton manages to slice it out for a throw.
Nicely worked free kick, wasn't it? Into Lachlan Scott inside the box. Nice little flick, just didn't execute it right. Marconi get away with it there. Were able to clear their lines in the end, but yeah, really intelligent play from Marconi.
Well, if there's one club that's up to the task, at least historically, of coming back from a seemingly insurmountable deficit, it is Wollongong. No one will ever forget that incredible NSL Grand Final. 3-0 down to 3-3 and winning on penalties. It's baked into the legend and history of this great club. Yesic sliding in. Oh, and Lachlan Scott's got the better of Milinaric here, and he's got to be careful as Scott can't find a teammate. Touch off Murdakudis and behind for a corner.
It's great play from Lachlan Scott there, isn't it? You know, firstly, the contact with Murdakudis, and then he works his way onto Milinaric, and Milinaric has to be careful, like you said, on a yellow card already.
You can almost see it cross his mind
Absolutely.
as he thinks about bringing him down.
But, you know, his partner gets across like all good defensive partnerships do. They look after each other, and Murdakudis was there to stop that ball coming across, flashing across the box of Marconi.
Still only conceded the one goal, Marconi, so far in this competition. High one for Kanazumi! And it ricocheted back to Hilton at point-blank range, and he held it brilliantly.
He does well. He gets fortunate. Again, Wollongong, good delivery. First contact there at the back post. You have to say, it's a good little flick there from Danzo. But he just finds the hands of Hilton. Knows not a lot about it, but, you know, secures it well in the end as well, you have to say. And if you're Wollongong, you're going, is our luck in today?
It's a big chance for Isaac Danzo. Albeit an instinctive one. Great reactions from Hilton. Yeah, wonderful. It comes close to his body, of course, but to hold on to it, that sort of point-blank range, shows his quality. Milinaric. Van der Sarg. Norwich forwards. Olsen takes it down on the chest and pops it up for Beattie. Solski goes through the narrow gap to find Kanazumi. Ryan into Scott. Left the ball short. Meyer will stab it in behind with the outside of his boot. It's a glorious pass, and Sekenis went down looking for another spot kick.
We'll have to see again on that replay. For me, though, it looked like a good challenge initially.
Olsen up the other end. To his left, Ryan arriving late at the far post, won't get there.
Going back to that ball, what a wonderful ball from... He's just wrong-footed himself there, you have to say. He can't change direction quick enough. Damien Sekenis, if anyone's making the contact, it's probably him on Beattie after the initial slide. But going back to that initial pass, that was a lovely weighted pass there from Franco Meyer with the outside of his left foot, wasn't it? Just a nice little bit of curl on it as well. the direction that Damien Zakinis was going in. He just couldn't get his footing right to get back on into the ball there.
It's outrageous technique from Meyer. That's what he's capable of. Nick Wilkshire getting a touch.
Again, though, promising signs for Wollongong Wolves, though, on the other end of that. Olsen getting to the byline after that initial chance there for Marconi. Just lacking the quality to find the Matt Dillon, I think.
Oh, Dax Kelly's put his keeper in trouble. Akio to the empty net, and it's cleared off the line by Kanazumi. Solski retreating back to his goal line. Bayliss will have a go for the top corner, and it's not far away.
Solski's flirted with that on numerous occasions already this game. You know, the late challenge coming in from the likes of Zakinis and Jesic in the first half, you know, sliding challenges, and it just overplays there again. Kanazumi on the line there, doing well for his team to keep them in it. And Bayliss with his wrong foot, you have to say his weaker foot, almost finding the net. Solski scrapping there.
Ball drop for Jesic. Bayliss. Long throw. Well, they've looked pretty impressive going forward at times, even with a player short, but they're leaving gaps at the back here, Wolves. Bayliss, nice weight on that pass. Zakinis will keep it alive. Van der Sarg has one to aim for in the box. Jesic is peeled deep off the delivery from Van der Sarg. Intent was right, execution wasn't up to scratch.
Absolutely. Jesic has his hand up there, seeing that Van der Sarg did see the run. It was a clever run. Just like you said, though, the execution there for Van der Sarg just off the money.
Van der Sarg has found his home in the heart of midfield for Marconi after playing most of his A-League football as a fullback and plenty of NPL football as a winger as well. Fairly won by Olsen, who points to the ball. Sprays one into space for Thomas James. James delivers it early, straight into his fullback. Opposite number, and Hilton gathers. Meyer. Funny player, Franco Meyer. Flattered to deceive at times, and then moments of genius.
I can't help when I'm a coach, just get frustrated sometimes because he has got wonderful feet, wonderful execution, and then does silly things like that.
Still alive for Marconi here, though. Jesic. Akio. Russell trying to nip in and win it. Instead, he's marshalled Akio over the touchline. Good defending. The former Western Sydney Wanderer. Illawarra native as well. Tate Russell, 4 years as a junior with the Wolves, and he returns to his hometown team after a very successful stint in the A-League. Bayliss drills it across the box. It's taken a touch and it evades Marco Jesic, who has to pick up the scraps on the other side. Zakinis. We get down the line against Kanazumi. It's clever work from Zakinis, but his touch deserted him at the crucial moment. Kanazumi's given it away straight away. Tyron Burney encouraged to shoot. He scored a couple of goals this year in the NPL for Marconi. Right fullback. Olsen. Clever work from him. Shape on the pass to switch the play out to his captain, Lockie Scott. Trying to tee up the shot for Danzo. Shouting for handball themselves. Wollongong more out of hope than expectation. Oh, and they're going to go for goal here. Franco Meyer. perhaps inspired by some of the efforts we've seen over the first 2 rounds of the championship.
I think we've seen him try that in every game so far, at least once.
That's to join Yamamura and Manny Agwek in the Championship Hall of Fame for halfway line specials.
The team's just won the ball back. Keep the ball for your team. You're playing as 10 men. That would be my cry, and I think it would probably be Peter's as well, because if they keep the ball long enough, this Wollongong team will tire and they'll punish them once again, and he'll get another opportunity, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's why Peter Sekenis favours the yoga session before kickoff. Olsen. Scott. Ryan. Oh, he wanted it on his left. Ball didn't want to stick on his left. That one's gone out for a throw.
Again, though, Wollongong showing real positivity here. Trying to get up the pitch, committing a lot of bodies forward as well. They're not willing just to sit back, try and soak up that pressure. They still want to go out there, and knowing Luke Wiltshire, I kind of expected him to come out all guns blazing again and try and play attacking football. They're even still trying to build the game, trying to do it the right way as he sees it.
It's so tempting for coaches to go into damage limitation mode when you're in a position like this. Wiltshire is still chasing an unlikely result.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they could go back to front quite easily with Lachlan Scott up top, though, and play off that second ball if he really wanted to. But the way that Luke wants to play and how he likes his teams to play, we're seeing it right now.
Pass was offline from Danzo. Switched onto the chest of Meyer, and they've got options aplenty as Meyer rolls it in behind. Yesic to take it first time, and repelled by the goalkeeper. Well, the ricochet from Meyer wasn't too far away either.
Good play again from Marconi. They will get these opportunities. The game will open up. Like we said, Wollongong will want to be still expansive and play. Probably just the initial pass takes Yesic that little bit wider, creates a tighter angle and a better opportunity for Solski to get his angles right and get his save right, which he does well.
How long can the Wolves hold out? They're playing so expansively, down to 10 away from home. Luke Wiltshire is rolling the dice. Akio. He's down. Looking for the free kick, which is not forthcoming. Bernie. Milinaric. Intelligently done. And the former Brisbane Roar and Sydney FC junior played a handful of games in the A-League at the Roar. So had an overseas adventure with Dinamo Zagreb as a young man. Akio for Daniel. Drifted in field. Solski's off his line. It could be three. Oh. Saved on the line. Oh, Dylan Ryan. Sekenis with the follow-up. Surely they can put it in. Akio. Oh. It's blazed wide. Incredible.
Where do we start with that one, Josh? Wonderful defending from Wollongong Wolves, throwing absolutely everything at it. But you have to say, Franco Meyer, all he needs to do is make contact from 2 yards out. He misses the initial one. It comes back out. I can't even remember. I mean, Akio gets the last one.
Yesic here. Keeper gets a hand to it. An incredible stop on the line from Dylan Ryan. The clearance comes straight out to Sekenis. A goalmouth scramble for the ages.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing that plenty of times on social media for the next week. You have to say, though, Wollongong just throwing everything at it, though, to stay in this game.
Well, changes afoot. Let's check in with our man on the sideline, Alex Molchanov.
Well, a very special moment coming here, Josh, as Noah Anderson makes his first appearance in the Australian Championship. You mentioned the expansive football, that Wollongong have been playing so far in this second half, despite having the man disadvantage. They've got Flynn Madden, Urban Klajic and Alex Masio Vecchio all warming up the legs for Luke Wilkshire. We'll see just how long it takes him to pull the trigger on another change.
Noah Anderson, the teenager. The third youngest player to appear in this competition so far. 17 years of age, and he's on the ball here. No way past Ryan. Came to the Wolves' rescue off that goalmouth scramble a few moments ago. Olsen. Spreads the play to James. James with 2 for company. All we can do is win a corner.
And somewhat Marconi playing into Wolves' hands there a little bit too much. Obviously, Anderson just coming on. It was very impressive when he come on last week, we have to say. Josh, you know, got that lovely left foot, wants to come in off that right-hand side. But the transition moment there, that's what Wolves are looking for. And Marconi too deep in the transition.
Olsen's delivery is a good one. Hilson got the punch to it. Russell. No way through for Nick Olsen. Away they come. It's the young man, Anderson, in a 2v1. Sekenis waiting in the middle. Still going. Noah Anderson!
Oh! There you go!
He's done it! Off the bench and onto the score sheet in spectacular style. The 17-year-old with his first goal in senior football, and it's a bench-emptying celebration for the Stallions.
Absolutely. And that's one way to make your mark on this Australian Championship. We talk about young players coming through in Australia, and what a wonderful, wonderful goal from young Anderson. He had all the time in the world, and we're asking, what's he going to do? Is he going to play it inside to Damien Sekenis? Beattie's not willing to go and challenge him there. He goes himself to great effect, right in that top-hand corner near post. No chance for Solski. A wonderful moment for Marconi, but even more so a wonderful moment for that young man. Welcome to the stage, Anderson.
Well, this is what this competition is all about. The stage was set for Noah Anderson, and he knew his lines and hit his mark. A brilliant finish. A nerveless finish.
Well, you can just tell there's absolutely no nerves about this kid. You know, the first time he gets the ball, he wants to run at the opponent. He wants to try and beat him. A young kid full of confidence.
This is Lockie Scott to reply immediately.
Oh. Great save.
Hilton gets a fingertip to it.
And there's bigger celebration there from Hilton there. He wants that clean sheet. Again, Lockie Scott, the big threat for Wollongong Wolves, does everything right. But Hilton up to the task. You just see with that celebration what it means to him.
Fabulous stop. Wolves will go again here with the set piece. As James aims for the near stick, he'll get a mulligan on that one. Retake from the left-hand side. Wolves in a 3-goal hole. Look at Thomas James produce. It's right onto Hilton. It's not cleared. And well blocked by Milinaric. Half a shout for handball. More from visiting supporters than players, which probably tells the story. Russell. James. Collision behind play involving Lockie Scott. Nothing malicious. What entertainment we've had at the Palace this afternoon. That third goal might kill this contest. Although the way Wollongong are playing, they're not going to take a backward step. They don't care about their goal difference.
No, and that's an interesting one. Obviously, when you play tournament play like this, and being that it is so tight between the two teams, you would suggest that, no disrespect to South Hobart, but it's going to be between Marconi and Wollongong Wolves for that second place. If Heidelberg continue and get that result over this weekend over South Hobart, that the goals could come into it. But not really in the thought process of Luke Wiltshire is looking to try and get back into the game here. But it's led to a third goal. Sometimes you risk things and they go for you, sometimes they don't. And on this occasion, they had their chance to try and get back into it. But Hilton was up to the task.
Here they come. It's Beatty. Oh, he took the side volley. That's beautiful technique from the substitute. And not far away. Here come the changes for Wollongong. Oberon Klaich is going to come on. So too Flynn Madden. It looks like Lockie Griffiths is going to be introduced for Marconi. Dylan Ryan had a valiant effort or two in defence, but his race is run.
I would imagine it's probably Milanaric coming off as well for Griffiths.
Yep. Two changes for Marconi as well.
Number 5, Lachlan Griffiths replaces number 4, Anton Milanaric.
Smart move from Peter Sakinis there. Anton Milanaric on a yellow card already. Doesn't want anything silly happening. Game's opening up a little bit. And a chance for Griffiths to get some minutes. Geordie Swibble coming on as well now.
Came on for the last 15. Same change last week. Coming on for Milanaric, so they're still keen to give Lachlan Griffiths some football, given he's had such a good year, but competition for places in the centre of defence is intense. And, Geordie Swibble has come on up top for Marconi. And it'll be familiar to A-League viewers from his time with Sydney FC and Western Sydney Wanderers. Straight into the action. The ball races away from him.
Yeah, just touched too heavy there. Very eager to get in behind that Wollongong Wolves defence, as we'll see for the next 20 minutes.
Anderson is perhaps surpassed all that's come before as the story of the afternoon. There's been plenty of headlines out of this game. Only joined Marconi mid-season after being a standout in the second tier for SD Raiders. And they knocked Rockdale Illingdon out of the cup.
It's a fantastic story, and you can see he's played men's football up to this point as well. He's not a young man that lacks in confidence, but that comes from having the opportunity to play in, men's football, and even though it's a division less, to get that experience, to get that confidence, to be in a men's changing room, to mature like that, you can see his maturity when he comes on, his confidence of what he wants to do, and he had absolutely no doubt what he wanted to do when he struck that ball.
James. Swibble. Slid through by Andersag. Marconi on the attack once again. Here's a chance. It's into the 6-yard box and off the crossbar from Swibble, and then off the post and glazed over by Anderson. And another goalmouth scramble. Sees Marconi come up empty.
Zakinis does ever so well here, 1v1. Just gets his toe to it. It goes in the air. Swibble gets first contact, second contact, hits the bar, hits the post, and Noah Anderson on the follow-up can't hit the target. Gets a nick on the way through for a corner.
Goodness me. They've scored a 3. They could have 5 or 6. Swivel rattled the crossbar in round 1 against Heidelberg. The post twice in the same sequence there. Oh, it hit from range. A searing strike from so far outside the box. No one expected Harry van der Sark to shoot, but he had other ideas.
Yep. Always when you see the goalie just plant his feet and stop, you think, well, here we go. This could be something that's dangerous and on target. But there was absolutely, yep. Don't think there was too much doubt from Solski, though, where it was going.
Changes for the Stallions as they empty their bench. Brandon Vella and Jake True.
Another good opportunity for Marconi, being in the lead that they are, to get as many bodies as possible, some minutes. It's been a long season for all these players, and they've worked ever so hard. So to give your other players the opportunity to get some minutes as well is always good for the camaraderie of the team, also going into the later stages of this competition.
Swivel. Plenty of time to measure a cross or a cutback in this case. Marconi in no hurry. James Bayliss and Damien Sekenis have been replaced. 2 bright performances. As van der Sark swings it in, catching practice for Solski. It's Flynn Madden trying to start the counter-attack. Can't find Thomas James.
Just feel that third goal now's obviously convincingly killed this game off. Made it a lot calmer for Marconi now, just to keep the ball, enjoy it.
Well, they've withdrawn their captain, Lachlan Scott. So maybe, just maybe, that's the Wolves waving the white flag here and saying, let's focus our intentions on next week. Bernie. In the wrestling match with Beattie. Anderson clips it into the box. The intended target was Jake True. Ends up safely in the gloves of Solski. And they've given it away straight away. Marconi looking for a 4th. It's Matai Bushek. Vella. And then Daniel fancied his luck, coming forward from left back, if you don't mind.
On his right foot as well. A little smile there as he runs back.
He's a pretty 2-footed player, I believe, George Daniel, but didn't strike that one cleanly. After all, why not? Again, they're flirting with danger at the back. Wollongong off those goal kicks. Cleverly done. It's True. Takes it to the touchline. And it's turned behind by Kanazumi, who's been a busy man all afternoon. Brandon Vella there for 250 games for the Marconi Stallions. Near stick delivery, and Lockie Griffiths got there first. He wants another corner, and he will get one.
Solski committing there. Maybe a little bit fortunate. Better connection there, and could have ended up in an empty net, but gets the benefit there of coming out, being positive, and gets the final touch, which leads it for it to going over the bar again.
Van der Sark, Solski, convincing. In a busy penalty area as Bushek tries to squirm his way through the gap. Tireless Van der Sark in the engine room. Again, making things happen for Marconi, but the move breaks down. Griffiths is trundling back. Waterkudis doing the same. It's Thomas James has Olsen in support. James inside onto his right. Space closing off for him. Can they get a shot away here? Olsen. Real pace on the delivery. James goes down looking for an optimistic spot kick.
The initial transition there, Marconi, if you look at it again when James cuts inside, the amount of Marconi bodies that we're getting back just shows you, even at 3-0, what it means to this team at the moment and the work ethic that they have for one another at this moment. Yes, obviously, tails are up, winning 3-0, but making sure they get back and don't want to concede to the end of this game.
That's the mentality that's drilled in by their head coach, Peter Sikenis. That's been the identity of this Marconi side.
Yeah, well, you don't get the best defensive record in the league for no reason, do you, throughout the season? And they're certainly showing that again in this competition.
Lockie Griffiths putting it into touch. Run back by Van der Sar, setting Swivel away. Everyone wants a goal, especially Jake True against his former club. True looking for Anderson, who's already been amongst the scorers this afternoon. Crucial touch from Beattie.
The substitution for the Wollongong Wolves, number 25, Alex Vecchio, will replace number 9, Thomas James.
And more changes for Wollongong. Thomas James will be replaced. Man on the yellow card, Vecchio, who started their first 2 games of the group stage, finally gets his chance to impress, and so too does Lucas Trajewski. Anderson into traffic. Away come Wollongong. Trajewski. Anderson. So I'm a little surprised, Scott, that, well, hold that thought. Swivel finds himself in space down the left. True's in the middle. Be a straightforward clean-up job for Kanazumi. A little surprising that Vecchio is one of the last off the pine. Obviously, his performance did not impress Luke Wilkshire last week. He was the first one substituted. The player dropped from the starting lineup. And one of the last players introduced off the bench.
Yeah, something for Alex to potentially ask Luke afterwards what the thinking is behind that.
Especially since he scored in round 1. He's done himself no favours with that turnover, though. Anderson. Looking for the gap. True. Couldn't chase it down in time. You see the pace has gone out of this one now. Nick Olsen would still love a goal. A clean win of the ball from Bernie. This puts just a little bit of pressure on Heidelberg to make sure they do a professional job tomorrow afternoon at Olympic Village against South Hobart. Brandon Vella breaking through the lines. It's Mr. Marconi for number 4. And it's wide.
That just seemed to open up out of nowhere there for him, didn't it? He sauntered through. He had all the time in the world to pick his spot. He failed to hit the target there, and all for money you're thinking, well, that's 4-0.
fans would have loved to see him put one in the back of the net. They still might. As Van der Sarg has Swibble. Swibble onto his left. Straight down the throat of Solski. Russell. Oh, he's done brilliantly, Tate Russell. And the referee just waiting for the advantage before calling it back for the original infringement from Griffiths. Such a hard team to break down, Marconi. Especially if you're down to 10.
Absolutely, even now, still in their 4-4-2 block.
Klajic feeding it through, whipped in by Olsen. And behind by Griffiths. I have to say, Olsen, despite lacking a bit of end product, has been very lively this afternoon. He's always tried to make something happen.
Yeah, always positive. Had a wonderful season, hasn't he? You know, New South Wales Player of the Year, scoring 15 goals as well.
Just as we're talking him up, a poor delivery from the set piece. Curse of the commentator with
Absolutely.
that one's on us, Nick Olsen.
Somewhat more predominantly played on that left-hand side throughout his career, whether it be you know, as a left winger or a left back. You know, in his days, from my seeing at Brisbane Roar, for the short period it was.
They had to rely on him heavily as their main attacking threat, with Lachlan Scott missing some time through injury during the season. He did rise to the challenge, even if the team struggled for form. Trajewski has a lot to do. Cannons off Bernie. Now Beattie. Well, memories of round 14 in the NPL New South Wales season truly banished for Marconi. Vanquishing Wollongong by, as it stands, the same scoreline that the Wolves did to them in the reverse fixture. Sure, the players will insist that that result wasn't the turning point in their season that it seemed from the outside.
It's a wonderful
Oh, it's a good ball for Olsen, and he's got a consolation back, or has he? Flag up on the far side for Nick Olsen. And his celebrations are cut short.
And it's not your day, it's not your day. And unfortunately, we'll see on the replay here if he is. Potentially, yeah, just probably a good call from the linesman. Wonderful ball from Kaljic, though. Lovely takedown initially as well. Gets the 1-2 and plays a lovely ball with that left foot. Sweet left foot of his.
Albert Klajic has had a winding career that's taken him to Singapore, to Serbia. He's represented his nation, Bosnia and Herzegovina, at under 18 level. To Brisbane and Queensland, now in New South Wales, of course. Anderson inside onto his left. True. All the way through, he's desperate for a goal. Jag True. Kudus. Daniel sliding it across. Dealt with by Dax Kelly. Space to attack here for Wollongong. The tireless Tyron Burney is in the way. While they've withdrawn the other player in their backline on a yellow card, Milinaric, Burney's had one for a while and he's looked pretty comfortable despite walking the disciplinary tightrope. Vela. Gorgeous ball in behind for Swibble. Unmarked man in the middle. Swibble can find him. Goes to the back stick for Daniel. Went for goal. Shot like purchase and was blocked by Russell. Now win V1 against Massiavecchio. And the Wollongong substitute wins out. and he's fouled by True. "30 seconds of regulation remain." It's been a disappointing, borderline devastating afternoon for Wollongong. The suspension to Harrison Bunel will hurt as much as anything.
I don't think there can be too many complaints for Luke Wiltshire or his Wollongong side today in terms of the result. Yes, okay, the disappointment of going down to 10 men from that penalty and sort of makes it all the more difficult then to get back into the game, but they didn't start particularly well. A few flashes on the attack in the first half, on the transition moments, but Marconi from start to finish, you have to say, have been very, very impressive and really, really warming into this competition. I like what I see, Josh.
Looked very solid, haven't they?
Yep.
Week 1, they were arguably unlucky not to get a draw away at Heidelberg, which is no mean feat. Laid siege to the Burgers' goal for 15 minutes at the end of the match and struck the crossbar, came so close to an equaliser. But still, Heidelberg cannot be breached in this competition so far. We know they can defend Marconi, and when it's flowing forward for them, they're an impressive outfit. It's fallen kindly for Swibble. True might have been flirting with offside there if he'd gone on to the end of that through ball. Wollongong won't be down and out of this competition yet, of course. They will host South Hobart next week, a fixture they'll be favoured for at Collegiate Sports Centre. While Marconi host Heidelberg.
That'll be a tasty one, that one. I look forward to watching that one.
That could be for top spot in the group. Especially given this afternoon and last week has done plenty of favours for Marconi's goal difference. Would you believe an NPL New South Wales side is still yet to beat an NPL Victoria side across Australia Cup competitions, across the Australian Championship? They still haven't got a win, so Marconi, they don't just want to do it for themselves and for the West of Sydney, but for New South Wales as a whole.
Interesting stat there.
Griffiths. Well, not his best moment of the afternoon, Jimmy Hilton. But it matters little. It's true. So Swibble would have been offside there. He's up against Kelly. And no way through. Coming up in our doubleheader, Sydney United versus Northeast Metro Stars on the Sydney United Sports Centre. Two sides in dire need of a win in Group D. Here's Swibble. Flag has stayed down. Geordie Swibble! Well saved from Solski.
Fantastic save.
Great. Coming to cramp.
Great reactions though from Solski there, just with his left hand. Wonderful ball there, over the top there from Anderson. And really Swibble strikes it so well, but a nice little height probably for Solski, but all the same, really, really good reactions, good strong hands. And even though it's 3-0, he's had a pretty decent game, Josh.
I think he's massively impressed and improved on his performance from last week against Heidelberg, where he led in that shocker to Angus Taylor. He's made several really good stops. One in the first half from Sekenis, where he scrambled across his goal line from close range, albeit his defender, it was Kanazumi on that occasion, took a bit of the sting out of the shot, but he's been under all sorts of pressure this afternoon. Oh, well, maybe it's not just cramp. Worrying signs at the back for Wollongong. They've already lost a defender to suspension. To lose another to injury would be the nightmare scenario.
It'll be a big week's training for Wollongong, you would like to think, with Luke Wilkshire back to the drawing board. Good chance, though, being at home next week to potentially pick up points against South Hobart. I don't want to discredit South Hobart, though. You know, still a massive threat, good side, but the way that the results have been going, they'll be looking at that one Wolves to try and get back into this this group stage and maybe potentially put pressure on either Heidelberg or Marconi if they weren't to get a result in next week's fixture.
Back underway with Wollongong temporarily down to 10 as Bushak swings it in. It's a free header for Griffiths and just tipped over the crossbar from Solski. You can see the banner behind Lockie Griffiths. Wolves for the A-League. I think that one's got displayed at just about every Wollongong home game for the last 20 or so years. Bushak, oh, good delivery again. It was Van der Sarg this time. Nodding wide. Seconds remaining at the Palace. A triumphant afternoon for the Stallions. Noah Anderson to put the cherry on the cake, but it's well claimed by the goalkeeper. And that is full time. And as decisive a result as you're likely to see in this fixture, Marconi have their revenge for earlier in the New South Wales NPL season and crucially have the front foot in front of Wollongong when it comes to progression from Group B. William Accio, Franco Meyer, and then the 17-year-old in the second half, Noah Anderson, lighting up Marconi Stadium. And Wollongong down to 10 players simply had no answer. The final score at the Palace is Marconi Stallions 3, Wollongong Wolves 0. Let's look at the decisive moment of the second half. Young Noah Anderson in a 2v1, and he didn't choose the easy option, Scott.
No, he didn't. You know, Beattie made it difficult for him. But a young, confident 17-year-old Marconi have got at their stables. Noah Anderson, welcome to the stage. With that lovely left foot of his. Decisive, strikes through the ball. And you have to say for Solski, absolutely no chance rifling into that near top-hand corner. Making it 3-0 in easy streets from there for Marconi.
His first goal for the club, and his teammates got around him. One of many incredible goals we've seen in the Australian Championship. Let's flash back to round 2 and take a look at our goal of the round as voted by you, the viewers. And it's gone to none other than Manny Agwek of South Melbourne for this halfway line special against Moreton City Excelsior.
It was absolutely wonderful execution, and rightly so. The right goal of the season, right goal of the week, should I say, Josh, this week. Agwek making a huge statement in this game, coming off the bench with his first touch, scoring a goal, and then producing an absolute stunner of this quality to make it 2-0.
Well, if you want to have your say, keep an eye out on the Australian Championship socials for our next goal of the round vote. But let's have a look at our save of the round, because the goalkeepers have been incredible, but so have the sideline reporters. This is our own Adrian Archuli. Wollongong Wolves against Heidelberg last week. The ball coming straight for the camera, and Adrian comes to the rescue, saving 10 grand plus of camera equipment is the important part, Scott.
Yeah, but he's in the slips. He's got to keep a hold of them.
And here he is today, being presented with his golden gloves. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yes, pose proudly with it, Adrian. You've done the production team proud and come to the rescue as the ball was destined to collide with our camera equipment. A fantastic reflex save from our man on the sideline, from a prone position as well.
Yeah, look, he saved a lot of money there in camera, and the cameraman probably for that matter as well. So good on you, Adrian.
Well, we're not done here on Super Saturday. Up next, Metro Stars travel to King Tom to face the might of Sydney United, who've had such a proud history in tournaments and knockout football, but are winless after 2 games. We'll take a short break. On the other side, it's our action coming up. A must-win game for both teams, Sydney United versus Metro Stars.